Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Rick's Two Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything,
Hello, all.
Roger from Roger Shop,
Howdy, howdy.
and Andy from Andy Bird Builds.
What's up, everyone?
See, I made Andy think of something new.
I know, right? I was like, why am I going last? Come on.
I know I messed up. Like we got this. What is the Brady Bunch thing going, or it's all like what is there?
Yeah.
You need to put Alice in the middle.
Yeah, I just kept going with it. I kept going with it.
It works. It works.
Clayton, a loyal fan.
It's been a crazy week. So this week started. What day is this? Wednesday. This week started with me getting a random DSL shipping notification, and I'm thinking, I don't know what the hell this is. And like, because they never name who it's from, right? They just say, oh, you're getting something. And so finally this morning, CommMarker said, oh, we're shipping you the 100-watt Titan. So it should be here next week.
Oh,
nice.
What's a 100-watt Titan?
Fiber laser.
Nice.
They also have a 200-watt version of it, and I was trying to finagle that one, and it was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Nice. Super nice.
That's cool.
It's like, since you're shipping something, why don't you just ship the good one? But no, a 100-watt fiber laser will be pretty impressive.
Do you have anything like that in your shop?
I have a 60.
I have a 60.
And a 40. Well, a couple 40s.
Nice.
Well, or not 40s, 20s.
Hmm.
The B4 is a 20, and so is the F1 Ultra.
Oh, that's the comic. Damn, they want $7,000 for that laser?
The 20-watt, the 200-watt, yeah.
Holy cow. That's some bucks.
That's wild. Let's think about that a little bit. Let's think about like the use case, like who's buying that laser?
To me, that power means you're making jewelry. Like if you're cutting out jewelry like nameplates, plaques.
Yeah,
you better
you're
know
definitely a business, and you're definitely cutting as opposed to engraving.
Yeah.
The only reason I ask is because, like, I don't know, I'm just unfamiliar with what like that type of machine is capable of in a, like, I could, mess around with it, but as far as from like creating things to sell, I've never explored that.
Yeah, you definitely would want to be cutting metal, not engraving metal, right?
Yeah. So, and since we're talking about insane power, the X-Tool Metal Fab is available in two configurations: an 800-watt laser and a 1200-watt laser.
Oh, wow!
Crazy. You know what's going to get crazy though is that, like China, right? I turned down so many things from China because they're like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "I can't turn it on." You know what I mean? They have to understand that, like, there's like a line between industrial and home-based business. Industrial and home-based business.
Yeah.
Because, once you go over needing over 200 amps, like even like these little mini plazas, these little mall strip things, they don't have over 200 amp service. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like, what do you have in your house? 200?
I have 100 amp service.
Really? Wow, yeah. I have 300 amp service in my house.
I have 200.
Well, I have 200 in my house and 100 in my shop.
Yeah. Oh, I guess. Yeah, because I have 2 garages. So yeah, I have 3 outbuildings, so I have 200 total. But
split off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
go ahead.
I was gonna say when I built this building, it's on the same. It's just behind my house. That was a big consideration, like power needs, right?
Yeah.
And I talked to the electric company. I had them out here, setting a new. Do I go with a completely new service or do I do a sub panel off the house? And so that was a long ordeal, and it's hard. I'm not an electrician. I know there's literally 2 of them sitting right here, but
they might laugh at both of us.
But what are my power needs? That's really hard for the average person to forecast.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, literally, I need to run.
If you just have lasers, you're probably okay. But if you have like a table saw and a big bandsaw, I mean, those things are all 200, 220 volt, right? And this new X2 welder, right? It's a 220 volt, 25 amp circuit. Well, that's like
so now
a
you
stove,
think
like an oven, right?
yes, you got a 220 compressor, right? You got a 220 table saw. Then you're gonna have a 220 laser. Like, dude, that's half a house.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like what appliances in your house are using that? Maybe an electric dryer and maybe your furnace. Like,
Yeah.
you know what
So
I mean? Like,
the biggest circuit in my house is I have a 220 volt 50 amp circuit for my car.
okay.
And that's it. That's like everything else is probably as much power as just that one thing. But
Steve is like when he plugs in these lasers, he goes and unplugs his car.
not quite that bad. No, I actually have 300 amp in my house, and then they have a sub panel, 100 amp sub panel in my workshop. So
yeah, so I wanted 300 amp service, but I have to run a new line from the pole.
Yeah.
And
So that was the hard part for me is our service pole is across the road.
Yep.
yeah,
And
mine
so, it's like, do you go over?
Or do a bore shot and bring it underground and no more have aerial to your house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I live, I have no choice but to go overhead because once you peel the sod off the yard, it's rock.
Yeah, I was. We were gonna do it. They were like, "Hey, the guys at work, like, bro, let's just run a new line to your house and do a hot cut. Screw it." And we kept talking about it, like, "Come on, man! Like, we'll just come one day, we'll bring the trucks and we'll just run a line and do a hot cut to your house, and then later on, just do the panel later. But we'll do a hot cut." And by the time I'm like, "All right, screw it, let's do it, man." We go to do it, and they get a smart meter, and they're like, "Bro, we can't do it now because we disconnect the house. It'll like trigger an alarm."
Yeah, some light will go on somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, man.
So I ended up. I have a 200 amp service to the house, and I have a 100 amp sub panel in the shop. So far, I've been fine.
Yeah, that's what I have. Works great.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm waiting one day to. It's like, how many can I run the CNC and laser at the same time and cut this board down to length? And my wife has the dryer on. Like, let's see what happens here.
I usually run. So I have one 110 volt circuit, but it's 20 amp, and I can run. Well, really, I can run all my lasers at the same time on that circuit.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah, I've ran 2 compressors in 2 of my buildings, and it caused problems inside my house. And I was like, "Oh man!"
And when you say problems, you mean your wife yelled at you, right?
Yeah. But you know what? Now I don't have a gas. I don't have an electric dryer. I have a gas. So I don't have that problem anymore.
That's nice.
I eliminated that.
All right, let's not ignore the good people who've joined us.
South Carolina.
Here we go.
Hey guys, you know what? I saw an email come through, and I wasn't sure if you guys ever heard of it, but Michael's, the hobby store, they have pop-up shops now that you can actually sell inside their stores. Have you guys seen that?
Huh.
No, I saw their online marketplace.
I saw something about it too,
but I didn't realize the pop-up shop.
Yeah, it literally says pop-up shop, and it shows you dates like this weekends. Like they have random events that you can go there and do pop-up shop events. I thought that was pretty wild.
Did you read anything about their like terms or anything?
No, I didn't get too deep into it. I just saw it and was like, it's pretty cool.
That's interesting. I know their terms. I don't know if you ever saw that they released like their own version of Etsy. Michael's did, and their terms were really aggressive. Like I don't want to sell on there because you were basically giving them rights to
steal your design.
Basically steal your design and produce it themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm gonna make bobbleheads of Steve then and sell them on there.
The silver fox.
Steve can't sue me because I'll donate all proceeds to like the military. This is a non-for-profit.
Well, given the state of the world, having you donate more money to your military is maybe not a good thing for me. So
we gotta do something, man, because they're closing all these. Oh god. Whew.
Uh,
I have my family's third generation military, right? And so many my family members, so many of my friends in the military, they're all getting out. Just
yeah. Nancy mentions Adobe's licensing too. It's a bit crazy.
I know.
I actually
$60
have
month.
I recently got a license for Firefly,
Hmm.
which I like. You can actually generate up to 5-second video with it.
Yeah, I pay $60 a month because I have the full package plus
Yeah.
Adobe stock.
Yeah, Adobe, this suite.
Yeah, it's like it's everything they have. Like it's literally
Yeah.
every program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's-
I pay like $30 a month because my wife's a teacher.
Oh, so you get the discount for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, my wife every now and then's like, "Why don't you cancel it? That's expensive." I'm like, "I can. I use that constantly."
Yeah,
Like
they get you.
I
yeah.
used to know quite a few people who worked at Adobe, and they were like, if you ever need one, just let me know. We'll get you a license. It's like, if only I had taken advantage.
Well,
Do you still know them?
well,
I do, but they no longer work at Adobe.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I've always had the programs, but I used to just buy it, right?
Yeah.
But I had Premiere and I had Photoshop, and that's it. But that's all I needed,
I have Photoshop and Lightroom, and I still have it, and I'm still working on the old because I never upgraded once they went to subscription services and all that. No thanks.
Yeah. The only thing I really wanted out of Photoshop was the AI image generation. So really, that's what Firefly is, right? It's the
I'll tell you
stripped-off
what.
version of that.
Photoshop's, there's a lot of good ones out there, but recently I've been messing with Photoshop's like AI generated tool, I guess the way to say it, but they're generative AI inside Photoshop.
Yeah.
Man, that is it's just mind blowing.
You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go alone on the screen there, Rick.
Yeah, this is
Okay, I got sent this on TikTok for Steve. For the Silver Fox.
his website. He's currently running a 50% off sale.
I thought it was hilarious.
that's
I
what
thought it
she
was
said.
so funny. I almost pulled out an aluminum card and put it on the Mopa Laser.
That'd have been awesome.
No, but I've been having lots of fun with this pro colored F13. It's just I could make an OnlyFans shirt now. Maybe I should.
There you go.
Hey everyone, best
Oh.
dress competition winner goes to Roger.
As always. Like,
I mean, there's no competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife's got picked out some more, and I've got some more coming, so there'll be some new ones coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah. So Nancy says she don't blame people joining the no longer want to be in the military. There's a change in terms.
No, she's still talking about Adobe. She canceled her subscription. Awesome that you managed to figure out how to cancel it, because a lot of people,
Yeah.
the one person who takes cancellations at Adobe just doesn't have a phone.
It's so true. They make it so
FTX Design
difficult.
said, haha, I sent that.
Why? Thank you, sir. Or madam.
That's funny.
Oh boy.
This is referring to Nancy. Says I'm using Affinity.
Yeah, I actually have a license for that. I never use it though. It's I don't know. It's too much. It's too unlike Inkscape and Adobe Illustrator. So I just can't get into it. I can't make the mental commitment to learn it.
I use Canva a lot.
Yeah.
And I have the paid version.
I'm still hung up on Kiddle.
I like it just for all my thumbnails, to be honest with you, because all the formatting's perfect. Like,
He does make it easy. Yeah.
YouTube click, Instagram.
That's what I do too. And yeah, with Canva or Kiddle, you can have a brand kit, so you can just automatically make your thumbnail look like your
colors
theme, right?
and all that. Yeah.
Your colors. And
Steve, ever considered selling DTF gang sheets? Now you have a DTF printer.
I could. Why, do you need some, Tim?
There you go. Send him an email.
it works really well though.
So springtime's coming. You guys got any upcoming things you're going to start selling?
Springtime is here already.
Well,
Today was 78 degrees here.
it just snowed the other day, so
Yeah, it was 65 here. It's supposed to be 80 on Friday.
yeah.
And we're going to
True.
get some wicked weather.
Yeah, that's what they're saying for us too.
We're actually a little late here with spring this year. Every year I have this habit of taking a picture of the daffodils the first time I see them in the garden. And this year it was only this past week when I saw them. So it was March 3rd, which is really late because last year it was the middle of January.
Really? Wow.
So I have some exciting news, guys. I'm sure most everyone who's in live is familiar with the Louisiana Hobby Guy. He joined our audience, our live a couple weeks back in the audience, and I shot him an email because he asked us to. And he said he watches our every live.
Cool.
But he watches it on his TV, so he generally doesn't comment. So he's having an operation this month. He said so he's having some downtime, but he'd love to join us next month.
Sure.
Sweet.
So very cool.
I actually had somebody put a comment in one of my videos just today, and the comment, they were talking about something not about this, but the last part of their comment was YouTube is my TV, and I went, wow. And I know a lot of people who only watch YouTube on television.
Yeah, did you see? So every year YouTube puts out the I don't know, CEO or whatever they call themselves of YouTube puts out like the
report.
A report basically, and they said that I want to get this right, but there's been a major shift. A couple of years ago, it was mobile, right? Mobile views, but I think over 50%. I think 50% of all YouTube views have come from television.
That's crazy.
In 2024.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So people are, it's just, that's wild. I mean, I know I do. We watch YouTube all the time. We have YouTube, what is it called? YouTube, where you don't watch ads.
Yeah. Premium.
Premium. Yeah. We pay for YouTube.
Premium. I have premium. I got tired of commercials. Plus, I run YouTube stuff on the back screen sometimes.
I took it off when they removed the NFL and they made the NFL package another
subscription.
I think it was $100 for that.
They actually have a premium light package coming.
Okay.
Which will do the no commercial thing, but you can't download video.
I just saw that. Like $7 a month?
Yeah, it's $7 a month.
Yeah.
Nancy, speaking of Kittle, I created a beautiful design, but when I download it as a PNG or SVG, with a transparent background, it opens up with a gray background. You sure it's transparent? Because by default in Kittle, there is no background.
So the other thing is it your preview window? Is it just displaying gray, but it is transparent?
That's the other thing. If you're using something like Preview on the Mac, it will assign a color in the background, and you can change that.
Right. So it could actually be transparent. You're just seeing a preview window.
Yeah, it might be. The way to figure it out is to open, if it's even if it's a PNG, open it in Inkscape because it'll show you whatever the background is.
Or open it in your browser, like Chrome or Safari. You could do that too.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from Louisiana Hobby Guy. He's awesome. Yeah, he definitely is a light burn master.
If you need to know about light burn, he's the guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, a couple times I thought of making a video and I saw him made something like that. Why even bother? If somebody asked, I'll just share the video. Here, just watch this.
I refer people to him all the time. They'll say, "Well, how do I do this, or how do I do this, and how do I learn this?" I say, "Here, you need to watch Rich's versions of it, and you'll learn it quick."
Yeah. So back to my question: you guys have any upcoming new projects for spring that you're going to be putting out?
I don't have anything specific because we own 4 greenhouses and it's peak season, so I don't have any spare time.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm going to make Tim some DTF gang sheets.
Did you all see? I didn't share it in the Facebook group. I should have, but did you all see what I built this week?
No.
last week.
I haven't had time to watch YouTube this
The
week.
last video I saw you make was the one that says to do a survey.
That was today. But yeah, if there's any new CNCers out there, I'm thinking about making a CNC 101 kind of crash course, and I'm looking for input. So you can that's not the project I'm talking about, since you brought it up, you can head to my YouTube channel and fill out like literally 2-minute survey. So I think I posted on Instagram. Here, let me see if I can show some pictures here. It's spring related. I did it as it's actually, I would show it, but it's literally hanging above my head right now on the wall. Let's see here. All right. Make me big.
They got pills for that.
Oh, here we go. Biggie. Okay. Is it too shiny? There we go. Anyways, can you kind of see it? So we made this as a custom build, as a piece of decor, but we were trying out some different things.
So it's a baseball scoreboard?
Yeah, it's a baseball scoreboard.
Nice. That's
And
cool.
so the black is chalkboard paint.
Nice.
So you can actually write on it. So CNC and laser, the white letters are acrylic, 1/8" acrylic. And yeah, baseball season's right here. We were looking, so this will be a video that's coming out hopefully this weekend.
And this is useful to hang up on a wall for keeping score in domestic disputes or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hit the countdown, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I'm
So
in a race
I-
tonight.
I know in my row there'd just be like 9 zeros.
Yeah. Strikes, 3 strikes, or 3 strikes and you're out. But no, so the video concept that we did were coming up with new project ideas or new product ideas to make and sell, and that was one of the ones that we came up with. And
cool.
We came up with a chair, and we came up with a calendar. Have you seen those perpetual calendars, the spinning ones that you can yeah. But anyway, so of those 3, we came up with that one, and then made it, and then did some market research and break down pricing and cost, and it was a fun project. But honestly, I think this is a fantastic. There's some out there already that people are making, but there's none out there that are made like this. They're usually like for sale. They're usually vinyl printed, like a vinyl decal put on, almost like a poster. Mm-hmm. But we added some depth, to this one, and it's all made out of plywood.
Nice.
And we had, I think materials wise, we figured we had about $80 into making that. And I know people are going to gasp, but I seriously think that you could sell these to $300 to $400 easily.
Nice.
As a piece of decor for a man cave. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's 5 foot long.
Oh,
and
that's big.
Yeah.
So the wall, like the sheet of plywood that you saw it hanging on, is a full sheet of plywood, a 4x8 sheet of plywood. So, we do this comparison where you're gonna have to watch the video, but I'm spilling all the beans now. But we do this comparison of selling these to selling like something like traditional, like cutting boards or coasters, and how many of these that you would have to sell, or how many coasters you'd have to sell to make the same amount of money as making and selling something like this. So that's the whole concept of like, hey, those markets are saturated. Not that we can't make money on coasters. We've talked about this a lot.
I actually did it this week, over 500 of them, and I am coastered out right now.
I knew that was coming. But
if you made one really nice cutting board, you could have made just as much money as those 500 coasters.
Yeah. So kind of the idea is like, hey, like I just want people to make cool, like more like cool stuff. I think there's so many. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Like the gateway drug to woodworking is making a cutting board, right? But how many people just stop there?
Yep. You know, because sometimes they get success and they're like, they just get in a groove and they're just going to keep on making them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people sell 3 items and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and they're very successful. Master something, that's it.
I made a really, really nice cutting board for a guy, actually, and a chessboard. And he sent me pictures this week, and the cutting board has a crack right across the middle of it. And I said, like, what the hell happened? Well, I don't know, it just cracked. And the border on his chessboard had a crack too, like wood broke, and like it didn't crack on a glue joint, it broke across the grain of like maple. And I said, I thought about it for a while, and then I said, what's the humidity in your house? Because he just moved, and he said it just happened when he moved. He comes back a while later and he says 35%. I said, it's like the desert. Like, no wonder it cracked. Like, you gotta get it up to close to 60, otherwise you're gonna run into any problem with wood. Before we go on here, Nancy, send me just email your image to me if it's not like top secret or something. Because the other thing to make sure you do when you export is check the no remove background checkbox as well, because that'll get rid of the background no matter what it is.
And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but guys, if you are not already a member, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you join our Facebook group. It is growing. How many?
We were at 377 earlier today.
Let's take a peek.
I have it up here.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. 377.
Oh, come on. That was 3 hours ago. Nobody joined?
377 members. That's awesome, guys. Feel free to show your work, page, whatever it is. Questions, answers, we're growing a community here. Very, very cool. So it's just not the 4 of us posting, it's everyone. So that's what's really cool. Yep. So we talked about before Sam's, right? How the chicken in the back is really not to make any money, just to go through, or Costco, the hot dogs, same kind of deal, right? And since we're on the subject of coasters, every year I sell a ton of cedar planterns, right? And what I was thinking of doing is every person on Facebook who shares my post, I'm going to give them a free set of coasters. But let's be honest, like when you're ordering the bulk we're ordering, they're like 6 cents, right? So you just gave them like 25 cents. But it's cool because you'd sell it for $35, So I thought that was my Sam's chicken or my Costco hot dog.
Yeah, it's a great concept. It's great. It's important to remember that.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm still working on trying to get a longer Nano Duo to do a giveaway.
What should we expect in the new year of laser engraving in 2025?
I expect to see more Class 1s and less Class 4.
Yep.
The market is definitely moving that way.
I suspect that open frame lasers are going to completely disappear. They're pretty much gone now, but I think Class 4 for sure. I think the power war is over, so I don't think you'll see like 100-watt diode laser.
I still want to see it. I still want a 70. Come on, Adam Stack, send it to me, man.
I think 2025 is kind of the end of 2024, and the Omni was a good test. Was the start of UV, and yeah. I know Nancy just bought one. They now have a 10-watt version of that, which I would love to have. I asked them if I could have one, and they didn't respond. So,
said, wah wah wah. Yeah, guys. So obviously, I asked the guys on the live with us, but in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, what are you guys actually making this coming spring? I said I'm making my planterns. What are your spring sales? I keep telling people all the time, it's definitely important to have a niche, but it's also important to jump on the bandwagon on seasonal items, right? You're not going to sell Halloween items year round. You're not going to sell Christmas items year round. not going to sell spring items year round, but it's a big opportunity to make a ton of sales for a small window of opportunity. What is something you guys are going to be making? Let us know. Let us know.
So someone put here in the comments pending on Facebook. So I jumped over there. We just got 4 members, Rick, from your push on the Facebook group. I approved them. So
okay, nice one.
Cool.
There you go. Thank you.
So what is that? What is that? 381. We're at 377 plus 4.
That used to be 381.
Used to be Canadian math and US.
Oh, yeah, they put tariffs on it. Who knows what it's going to cost?
I didn't know if that was the same. If math was the same in Canada or not.
They got a metric math. It's different.
It depends if you're using Common Core.
You have to convert that to metric force. No, I'm an old geezer, so I speak both units of measure.
It depends if it's Canadian beer first you drink or after, because
yeah, if you drink a couple of Canadian beers first, it
might get double
after that. Okay, what kind of business bought 500 coasters? What type were they? They are mostly cork, and they went to 3 different bars. And then I did some for the Order the Moose, where I'm a member. So there's one of the plastic ones.
Nice.
And here's one of the cork ones. They use these at the bar.
So
the bars, one of the bars I did, actually it says stolen from, and it has the name of the bar on it.
I love it. Yep.
So you made like 100 of those moose coasters, you said, right?
Yeah, I did that one day. I ended up getting the, because I ended up with so many orders, I was using the longer B1 and doing 16 at a time. I got out the big Ray 5 with the big 800 millimeter square work area, so I could do 64 at a time.
Nice.
Wow.
So I got my tracking order for the spindle kit for the CNC, but when I track it, UPS says not shipped yet.
Yeah, but that's close. That means it's probably only a couple of weeks away. Be interesting to see if you have to pay a tariff on that.
Oh man, I'm hoping not. What the hell, right?
Yeah.
As long as they can get it to you before the 2nd of April, you're probably okay.
Man.
We just got from Colombia today, and fortunately, the tariff doesn't apply there. So,
didn't Winfinity say they're not passing any of that on?
I don't know. Maybe.
I thought I read that somewhere.
I saw at the top of their website, big red banner. It said prices may subject to change because of tariffs.
Okay. Obviously, it's a very volatile.
It had like an American flag upside down. It looked like it was on fire.
Yeah, so I did notice in the order you sent, Rick, that they have a much nicer rotary. Like it's on rails, right? So
yeah.
Well, mine's on rails too, but it's not nearly as smooth as that one is.
But we'll see. It could be all smooth. I still got to learn to use it.
So Don says he's an Amazon seller, have been interactive during a spine illness. Oh man, that's terrible. Had spine surgery on November 4th, and recovery is in progress. Take care, man.
Well, best of luck to you.
Speedy recovery, Don. Speedy recovery. Fred said in 2025 is my new year of merging CNC 3D printing and laser grading.
Love it.
Welcome to the addiction, buddy. Welcome to the addiction. Steve, Nancy wants to know your email.
Just post it there. Usually you have it listed there somewhere, but
do I have your email?
Steve makes everything at gmail.com.
There you go.
The Silver Fox.
Yeah.
Nope. Now I'll get hundreds of emails from people saying hi.
Hi.
All right. Here you go. Here you go.
Hey, he bought a 3018.
Go ahead, Andy.
Add an extension.
You want me to take this one? So, Terrible at Fishing. I love that name, by the way. Purchased a Jumitsu Prover
XL, yeah.
Prover XL. But added the extension to double its size. I'm using it for cribbage boards. So interesting thought. That's really cool. Interesting thought is like how 1/8-inch bit, right, for cribbage boards.
For the holes,
You're plunging down. I wonder Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is that like with that machine? You know, the Z plunging down, because that's obviously what you're doing.
Well, this
You're
is
making holes.
This is the pro version, right? So they came out with this improved version of the 3018. Maybe because I kept bashing them, but yeah, this one has actually got a proper spindle, and it's actually
is it using like a router?
They have a 500-watt spindle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just like the two trees.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the extension rails, of course, would make it good enough for big enough for making cribbage boards.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a 2-tool path thing, at least. Well, it depends how you make it, but when I make a cribbage board, you 1/8-inch drill pattern to do all the holes, and then I use a V bit of some sort to draw all the grooves and the numbers.
Yeah,
and
kind of the outlines. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think something like that, right? Like, that doesn't take a ton. This is an interesting thought. Like, those tool paths don't take a ton of machine, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, well, you're going probably a 1/4 inch deep on the drills.
And you can take that, it's slower, but you can take that at smaller intervals if you needed to. Right?
I'm sure tell beats doing it on a drill press, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you use an upcut bit, you can just plow through them.
Yeah.
Nice. But my thought is like, if you're cutting out doing a profile toolpath on those, like, that's where,
Yeah.
that machine might start to, depending on, like, I'm talking about speed wise, like, it's going to probably take you a long time to cut through 3/4 inch or an inch of hardwood with that machine.
It takes a long time anyway. Like, I mean, you're drilling a lot of holes, right? Like, there's 120, and if you have 3 or 4 lanes, it's a lot of holes. So it takes a while.
Yeah. Must be a Canadian thing. I don't really see people playing it unless they're over 85.
So
you got to get out more. So a game that is Canadian that you probably don't see a lot is Crokinole. Do you know what Crokinole is?
No idea.
So it's kind of like, I would say it's kind of like curling, but you won't know what that is either.
I know what curling is.
It's kind of like shuffleboard on a round board. So, and it's like, it's a Canadian game. Like, it was invented in Canada, but it's kind of taking off. Northern states, they play a lot of it. And so it's fairly competitive, actually.
I got a weird sponsorship opportunity, and apparently it's really big in Canada. This chocolate that's shaped like a triangle and then has like a little space between it, triangle.
Like Toblerone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want me to do a review on it. And I even thought it was a scam, and I Googled their name, and there's a bunch of influencers doing reviews right now on them.
They want you to do a review on a chocolate bar?
Yep.
Have you hit rock bottom, man?
So here's the thing: is I got that same email, and I thought it was a scam. I just deleted it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
I didn't do any research.
I told them blah blah blah, and then they sent me an email from at that website's domain.
Yeah.
Because
Toblerone is a big Swiss chocolate company.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of phishing emails with false sponsorships.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot.
Yep.
Well, for some reason, I seem to get a lot of them. They want me to demonstrate and review breast pumps. And I don't mean from just one company. I mean, I'm getting a lot of them, and I'm like, oh, there ain't that much.
Must be the shirts, man.
You said
my wife gets a big kick out of it. She laughs about it.
Anyway, before we move on, Toblerone, if you're listening, I will happily do your chocolate.
He'll try anything once.
Send Steve a box.
You can send them my way.
It was 3 zeros in that payment out. So
I will zero. I mean, I'll run some chocolate on the CNC, make something different out of it.
I would do laser engraved chocolate.
Yeah.
Roger can melt it and 3D print with it.
Well, I saw an influencer try to do a video, see if he could eat it in one day, and the chocolate's like as long as his arm.
Well, yeah, you get them at the airport at the duty free usually, and they weigh like 3 pounds. Like, it's a big hunk of chocolate.
He was like doing updates. There's how far I am. I'm gonna try this whole thing in one day. And I was like, I guess it's legit, because there were people that had probably nothing to do with chocolate doing chocolate reviews, right? So,
wow.
Where's the link?
I
to
thought
the Facebook
doing a video on a lawnmower was a stretch, but
yeah, there you go.
where we go. Oh, wait, there's a question for Roger here. Where are we?
Are you grabbing it?
I'm trying to find it again. Roger, here we are.
Did a slate coaster with We Stole to one of the owners of 6 restaurants. You could use them to cross market to different restaurants. Yeah, higher end places with me with the slate coasters we do. It's they're higher end bars, like martini bars, and they cater to the, should I say, snobs, upper echelon, yuppies, whatever you want to call them. With designer martinis and things like that.
The 1%ers, well, probably 10%ers if they're
the Toblerone eaters. Toblerone.
Yeah.
Well, Toblerone is just like a high volume chocolate, but it's definitely a higher grade of chocolate than.
You're really trying to get that deal, aren't you?
Toblerone, yeah.
He's like the best you can buy.
I guarantee you can probably find one in my cupboard somewhere right now.
Well, if it was a scammer, they sent the email to the wrong people. I should have sent it to Steve. He would have been all over that.
Yeah, they just had to send it to me, and they'd own my house by now.
Too funny.
Where are we here? Tim
says, "What kind of level of CNC would you need for cribbage boards? Oh, crying out loud, he beat me."
Apparently, a Prover XL 3018.
There you go. Hey,
with rails.
Yeah, Two Trees came out with a Pro version too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a Pro version of the 450 now. And Two Trees is such a funny company though, right? Because they go dark for a long time and then boom, they pop up with something new, and it's like, well, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
Deep from the labs.
Maybe, yeah.
Terrible at Fishing said, I'm using 8-inch cut upcuts, and it takes a while but does a good job.
Yeah. You definitely want to use a down cut on a cribbage board. Yeah.
No.
Not unless you're drilling all the way through. Even then.
Hey,
there you go. He watched
my
video.
Your video, Steve. There you go.
Hopefully I saved him some time and he's using my design for it too. The one place you might want a 1/4 inch, if you make a really thick cribbage board, you can, so the ones I typically make are a little thicker. You can turn them over and you can put a deck of cards and all the pigs in the back.
Yeah, pocket them out.
Yeah. The pins are pretty easy. They're small, but the deck of cards, it has to be as thick as a deck of cards plus space for the pins to go through, right?
You're up, Roger.
Okay, Don said you got a Saint Smart Genmitsu 3018 Pro Ver, V2 in December. Gotten a lot of accessories. Yeah, that happens. Once you get it, you got to have accessories. And watched a lot of my videos. Appreciate that. And I did for a while have 2 Genmitsu 3018s. I don't have either one of them now. I've got a couple bigger CNCs, but still not as big as I'd like to have.
The one thing I realized is that the CNC is cheap. It's everything else that comes with it is probably more expensive than the CNC.
Yeah, it's the $50 or $60 bits.
Yeah, when you start breaking those amount of bits, you really
don't.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, he's not super experienced with CNC, but he sent me a picture the other day of a 1/8 bit in 2 pieces and said, "Well, there goes $30."
Yeah. I was gonna send you an email, Andy, and said, all right, what's the generic cheapest bits I should buy, and then what's the nice ones I should buy?
Yeah, go to Amazon.
Yeah, start with the ones that Amazon says are carbide bits. Start with those.
Yeah.
And when you break a few of them and learn, then go buy ones that are really carbide.
Yeah.
So you think they're legit not?
Well, they're like got a coating.
Yeah, carbide coating.
Well, they say they're solid carbide, but maybe they mean
way.
the coating is solid carbide. I don't know.
What's that spray you put on a pan? That's what it comes with?
Yeah, Teflon.
So it's the thing is, if you buy really good bits like an Amana bit, or there's a number of higher end ones, they seem expensive at the time, but they last forever. It's like the difference between your Lowe's saw blade and a Diablo saw blade.
Nice.
And the Lowe's one will work great for the first day, and then it starts to smoke and get hot, and
But it's important to learn how to use them first.
Yes. You're going to break a few.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I remember buying $50, $60 amount of bits and breaking them. It's one of my, I could stand, it's one of my like, I don't know, like pain points. I'm like, tell everybody that's new, do not break $50 bits. You know, like, no, don't, you don't need to do that.
Multicraft said some of the cut rocket files load, but never appeared in Carbine Create. Is there a trick I'm missing? The files you uploaded, I guess.
I can take this one. Some of the cut rocket files load, but never appear in Carbine Create. Is there a trick I'm missing? I'm not sure. So he's talking about cutrocket.com for free projects for the Shapeoko. And I've never had that issue. Maybe try a different file. Maybe try it again.
I would also say, see if you have an antivirus, try disabling it. Sometimes certain antiviruses will corrupt your download.
Yeah, try to re-download. In my video I did a couple weeks ago, a month ago now, I did.
If I'm laughing, it's because of the next comment. It's not that I'm laughing at what you're saying.
Yeah, so I did this. This project is from CutRocket. So try this file. If you can find the Lego Man file,
Nice.
I know that one loaded for me.
That's cool.
Try that one.
All right, this Steve, you're up.
Before I do this one, I'll jump in. Nancy sent me her image. There's definitely no background on that image, Nancy. Yeah, I am interested though, because it's a logo for, I guess it's her company, yes, NGR Creations. And there's a couple of clip art lasers in there. I can tell she's using Kittle. What are you laughing at, man?
The fact that Nancy's sending you pictures and you're interested.
They're not.
I'm just joking with you. Yeah.
Did you read the comment?
I read the comment. I refuse to respond.
We normally read the comments, but just skip that one out loud.
Might be something to add to the OnlyFans thing there.
Yeah, maybe.
You're up, Andy.
Fred says, Andy, your new CNC YouTube series is great. Man, I appreciate that.
I would probably say that if you sent it to me too.
You know what I like about your shorts, Andy?
Which one?
What I like about your shorts in general, and what I tell people about shorts, even when you're recycling content. So if you come up on Facebook or you come up and you're a paid advertisement, Google AdSense, it says it.
Yeah.
Right. But when you organically come up, you just come up, because they're watching your phone or whatever. We all know that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
That when you organically just come up within Facebook or organically come up on Google, I think that's cool. Like, I know they may be looking at my phone or looking at whatever, but they're doing the same thing to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's
cool. So I think Fred's referring to the 3 video series I did about buying your first machine.
Did you watch that series?
No, he didn't. If he did, he didn't take my advice.
He just blindly believed me and bought a Onefinity.
I told you that
you will not be disappointed.
I was definitely not going to get alt mill.
So the one thing I'm interested when you get it up and running is if they. So did you get a zero probe for it, like the little block?
Yep.
Normally they want you to take this little magnetic thing and stick it to the collet nut. I don't do that on mine. Mine is my spindle's grounded, so I have an actual plate mounted in my table, and it comes down in zeros on that. I guarantee you there will be a time when you forget to take that magnetic thing off of there when you start the spindle.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I got rid of it.
Or you forget to hook that magnetic thing to your bit, and you hit 0.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going. And
hence the need for another $50 bit.
And yeah, I've done that several times.
Yeah, what you'll learn to appreciate with the Onefinity Elite is those NEMA 17 or NEMA 23 motors. They aren't giving up, man.
Yeah, so I saw there's 2 different kinds of ones that do the zeroing out. What is it called? Do you zero out on it?
Yeah, you're zeroing your Z.
Yeah,
Z
so
probe.
No, what is that attachment called?
Z probe.
Z probe. There's 2 different ones, right? But I think isn't the one more expensive one? You don't need that magnet.
It depends if your spindle is grounded or not. Well, actually, that's not true because the other one is like a switch.
Right.
So you mount it in your table somewhere, and then you can go over and hit it.
Yeah.
So that's the configuration I have, but I just have a plate there instead of a switch.
Oh, okay.
But I know mine is grounded, so I'm never gonna bash through the aluminum plate.
Don said, I see Roger's channel, but I don't have the rest of your channels. In the bottom here,
they're all scrolling across the bottom there.
You can check us out.
Hit it.
We don't share Steve's OnlyFans. That's a different kind of wood.
Yeah,
channel.
that's my other stream.
Steve likes to diversify.
Yeah, of course you got to, man.
What brand bits would you recommend?
What's your budget?
What I always tell people, white side bits, they come from a lot of different suppliers because they're a manufacturer. But white side is a good middle of the road, quality solid carbide, American made bit. It's not the cheapest, not the most expensive, middle of the road. That's what I use pretty much exclusively in my shop. But there's some other great ones out there too. The Jenny bits from Cadence Manufacturing. They make great bits. They're a little more expensive, but they're very high quality. Cody does a fantastic job. It's a one-man. He's amazing. I actually had a phone call with him today. Another American made. He bought. Do you guys know who he is? Cody.
I know his bits.
Okay. So his story is really, really cool. Like, he started just like all of us, like getting into CNC and things like that and machines. I think he has like maybe an aerospace engineering background. Don't quote me on that, but it's an engineering background. Long story short, he ended up buying like a machining center, and he manufactures those bits himself in his garage.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about can't find something quality you like. Make it yourself, huh?
Yeah. I use Amana bits or sometimes IDC bits.
Yeah, IDC is another one.
Yeah. They're Amana and IDC are about comparable price wise and performance wise.
So let me ask you this: the high end bits, can you really justify the cost, or are you just paying for the name?
You want opinion or facts?
Well, what's your opinion on it?
My opinion is, unless you're in a production setting where you're running them day in and day out, no, can't justify the cost.
There you go. You heard it.
Yeah, I'm more on the fence than that, but I think so LTX talks about SPE. Those are the Amazon style ones.
Yeah.
They're okay. They don't last as long, and this is why I won't say I take exception, but I don't fully agree with you, Andy. Because if you have a Jenny bit, that thing is going to last 10 times longer than anything you can buy on Amazon.
If you're not breaking them.
Well, sure, that goes with any of them, but but I just find they last longer.
So
you can pay $20 for a bit or $50 for a bit, and the $50 one will last longer than three $20 ones.
Is it dissipating heat differently, or is it just
It's just better material? I think like it's like they're actually carbide and they've got proper edge on them. And
I've had some of the carbide bits that you supposedly carbide you get on Amazon and have a little oopsie and they bend. You can't
Yes.
bend carbide. That'll
Right.
snap in a heartbeat.
Breaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is, so heat is the enemy of bit life. And so chips, the wood chip that you're actually cutting acts as a heat sink and is taking heat away from that bit. And so, like, if you're recutting chips, you're reducing your tool life. Right? If you think about it, like, one, you're building up more heat. Let's think about a pocket with, where you're not removing, with dust collection, you're not removing those chips, you're recutting them, you're just reducing your tool life. So there's a lot of things. So feeds and speeds, especially so in wood, are very, let's say, flexible. There's a wider range than, say, machining metal, but like proper feeds and speeds, cut quality, bit life, they all play into each other, right? So in my observation, just my experience, people can have different experiences. I'm not saying I'm absolutely correct, but in my experience, tool life really becomes like, does a, like, let's say a quality carbide bit versus a quality carbide bit that's coated. Is there a stark difference in, like, tool life? And in my mind, no.
I still disagree.
So, I just don't think in a hobby setting you're going to see much of a difference.
Maybe. Well, yeah, and I'm not usually in a hobby setting per se.
There is a place for them in a production setting, in a CNC shop that, like, everything is dialed in. Absolutely, you will see a difference. But I think in a hobby setting, it's going to be very, very limited.
Where I see it is, I make a lot of these player boxes for Dungeons and Dragons players, and I'll make, I don't know, a pile of them at the same time, and I've had the same tool path, same speeds and feeds forever. And if I use, one of these cheap Amazon bits, it just does not last as long.
So would you say, because you said about passing through a second pass through, your chips, that a dust collection is going to make a huge difference on the lifespan of your actual kit, regardless of what brand, right?
Yeah,
yes,
definitely, we agree on that.
Because I see a lot of people on YouTube, they don't actually have a dust collection. They're just using the old vacuum. Let me stick it near the bit, and when it's starting to do.
Yeah, I do that when I'm recording, but I don't do that when I'm doing actual projects.
So when I did the dust collection, I saw the one that actually went in the front of the bit, and it came up, and then I saw the one that went behind it. And to be honest, the only reason I got the one behind it is because I thought if I was filming it, it'd be kind of out of the way.
Yeah, filming with CNC is tough. Like I don't hardly ever, like, a video that you see of mine, I'm not usually running dust collection because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see what happens. But what I do is I film a bit of it without dust collection so you can see what's going on. And then I run the rest of the tool path where I'm not filming with dust collection.
Yeah, so the PWN CNC, they have the dust collection comes from the rear and it has the magnet thing. So if you're actually going to record, you can go click. So because it's kind of like physically permanently mounted, but you can remove the little brush so you can still see it. So I thought that was a cool option, but it's $250.
Jeez.
Yeah, I designed, the one I use is one I designed. It's front mount. I really should redesign it to do a back mount though. Yeah, just for recording stuff.
Yeah. Terrible Efficient said the clamps supplied stink. What low profile clamps do you guys recommend?
I don't use clamps.
I don't either.
I use the blue tape CA glue stuff.
That's
everything.
That's the clamp of choice.
Speaking of blue tape, Andy, what is that blue tape that everyone puts over the wood?
It's just painter's tape.
Yeah, blue paint is 3M.
It's like a transparent.
He's talking about something different. He's talking about
Oh, the Oracle
or a mask.
Or a mask.
Yeah.
Is that worth it?
Some people say so, but
again, why are you bringing out all the opinions? Come on, right?
Well, because what I'm saying is that, like, I've always used masking tape on my laser engraving when I'm gonna paint inlay, right?
Yeah.
So that I don't get paint on and I don't have to sand it.
Yeah.
And I just use blue painter's tape. But I heard that if you use blue painter's tape, it really dulls the bits because the glue.
So I don't use any tape. What if I know I'm going to paint something, I'll just engrave it like normal. I'll put a couple of coats of polyacrylic on the whole thing after, and then fill in the holes, and you can just wipe off the polyacrylic if you get paint on it.
Okay, good tip.
Yeah, it's a great tip. And I would actually go further. Even if you are using it, let's say there's a scenario where you need to use masking, like you need to mask something, maybe multiple layers or multiple colors, still should use that polyacrylic trick to seal that wood grain. Yeah. Because what happens is if you use that, ask me how I know. If you use like a masking and you paint, you CNC it and then you paint it, that paint will wick into those wood edges.
Yep.
And
it's going to bleed.
It'll bleed, and you'll be like, but I used masking. It doesn't matter what masking you use. That's still going to happen because that wood is porous, and it sucks that paint in. So you have to seal it no matter what.
I've seen people use that. What is that? Sandless spray or whatever the hell it is. What the hell is that? I've never used it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, you got two CNC people, and neither one of us use the.
There you go.
So I have a roll of it I bought as a beginner, and it's still in my shop.
Okay.
And I paid like $80 for it, and it's been sitting there for 5 years. So you want
it? Yeah, like I don't even use polyacrylic to finish things usually. I'll use tung oil or something like Minwax tung oil, which isn't really tung oil anymore, but because you can put a couple of coats of that on really, really thin. So basically the wood is just like it was, except it's sealed now. Yep. And then you can just blob all the paint in the engraving you want. And I just take a paper towel on a block, wrap it, and spray it a little bit to get it damp, and then just wipe it right off.
Nice. LTS Design says, when I had a 150, I never used the collet as a ground. I used the bit. I broke the bit using the collet before. Rick, did you get the tool set or ACT? I did not. Yeah. We're doing it by hand.
Yeah. So you got the tool setter, right?
Yeah. No, you just said you didn't get the tool
setter.
No,
right? I did not. No, I got the
Z.
You didn't get a tool changer.
Right. No, I got the probe thing, whatever.
So I think he's talking about you got the Z probe, not the ATC.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but they have two Z probes, right? They have the one that's just a block.
Right. I didn't get that.
And then they have one that's like a push button for that you can stick over in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got that one.
The tool changer is built by the Rapid Change guys.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been meaning to send them a message again. I haven't talked to them in a while. I hope they're getting successful with it. I love my Rapid Change tool changer.
Really?
And mine is like an old generation. I was talking to him a while ago, and he said, "What? You're still using that? We have a whole new setup now. You don't have to do anything that you did with that one."
So I saw a video yesterday from the PWN CNC guys. When the video started, he had a T-shirt on that says, "We void warranties." Did you guys see that?
No.
The Shapeoko, that whole entire setup that's on the Infinity, they make it for it.
Huh.
All the new wiring, new side steps, the whole big screen. It looks like.
Oh, so they're basically replacing the controller with like a Masso controller or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
The Masso controller is nice.
We void warranties.
Yeah. When he's standing in the camera, he's like this, right?
I saw
all
that.
you see is his back, and it says "We void warranties." And then he walks in the screen so you can see what it's in front of him, and then he explains what he was talking about. But it was funny the way it started. Yeah.
Yeah, he mustn't be selling too many tool changers for Onefinities anymore now that they have their own.
Yeah.
Because his is like all pneumatic and vacuum, like it's just
tool changers or spindles.
Yeah, well, so the rapid change tool changer doesn't use air, right? You basically have a spindle or a collet nut and a collet for like in a row or in a circle, because he has a rotary one now. And the spindle just goes down like it if you have no tool on the spindle, it just goes down and hammers into the collet nut. And he's got this really interesting design to make sure that you don't like destroy the collet or the spindle. It makes a whole lot of noise. Like it's very, very grindy, but it works fantastic.
It's not nerve-wracking. You think something's gonna break?
The first time I did it, it sounded like something was going to break.
You're like, is this right?
Or in fact, already broke. But he warned me about that. He said it'll be loud.
Huh.
But what's really nice is then you can do a single job in like VCarve, and you can put all your tool changes and everything in one file.
Yeah, I think it's definitely cool, but man, just everything adds up, man.
It does.
My wife always says, like, even when we get things for free, it's not free because you need this, you need that. How many trips you gonna make to Home Depot today, Rick? Shut up.
Well, it already wasn't free because you'll spend 100 hours building a video for it.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing is free.
No.
Right.
Nothing is free.
No. So I'm excited about. I got the Adamstack Craft. I know, Clack was raving about it last live.
Clack seemed to like it.
So I got it sitting upstairs. So I'll get the video done this weekend and check it out.
You know, the only thing that's free is if you steal something and get away with it.
You know, in California, almost everything in some of these little mom and pop stores, the price is $1,000 or more, and at the register is $1,000 off coupon. So if you steal it, it's an automatic felony. If you steal a candy bar, felony. That's crazy, though. Tim says 25% more expensive soon. Oh, you're saying because of tariffs?
Yeah, Tim's a fellow Canadian, so.
Man, well, if you guys become one of our states, then it probably won't change, right?
Oh, I don't have the shirt here. I was gonna wear a very political shirt today, but I thought, no, this isn't the place for politics.
I think that people won't even get mad. They'll just understand.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, oh, man.
Well,
I don't know.
Whatever.
We'll see what happens.
Chris said bits are decent, but not real cheap.
Yeah. I've used a couple of their stuff. Oh, this makes me think about bits. Oh, another one that's really good that I used early on Amazon. I haven't used it in a couple of years, but it's called geez, I just lost it. It'll come back. It's another brand of bits, a cheaper brand on Amazon, but one that I found really like decent quality for a good price.
So I've been
Carbide Align.
Okay.
Was the name of it.
I've been getting a ton of companies from India wanting me to review bits. And I basically told them, like, I don't know enough to say that it's good or bad. Like, if you're interested, that maybe later. But I'd just be lying. And I'm not going to lie in a review.
You're not going to make a video and say, well, these are terrible. I broke 23 of them while I was learning how to use my CNC.
Look at this. Smash. Look at this. Smash. They suck.
This bit can't even handle being bashed against the side of the table.
I thought this thing could do bricks. I don't know what the problem is. Yeah, LTX side said, I'm still using the first Jenny bit I ever bought years ago. Occasionally clean it with CMC mitt cleaner, but it's still sharper and cuts better than most bits I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jenny bits last forever, man.
Yeah. The only I've broken a Jenny. I got a Jenny bit one time. I've used several. I've used a lot of them, and but the first one I ever got, that's one that I ran into a clamp.
Yeah, I had 2 pieces of a bit that did that too.
Yeah.
I got that.
I don't use clamps anymore.
Yeah.
I know, Steve, you didn't get it, but I got that bottom piece the CNC sits on so I could just run the spoil boards in it.
Yeah, I had that on my first Onefinity and then really realized that I just thought it was a convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be able to the theory is you can pick up your CNC and move it somewhere, right?
Right.
The reality is your CNC weighs 250 pounds, and you're not going to do that anyway.
Well, I stand up all the time.
You
It was
what?
a joke. I said I stand up all the time. It was a joke.
Did you get the top mount plate or the bottom mount?
They only have bottom mount.
Oh, they used to have a top mount one.
Yeah, before I placed the order, it had both, and then when I finally did, it only had bottom mount.
So again, the bottom mount seems like a reasonable thing because hey, the screws are all out of the way. But when you have to change the spoil board, those screws are so remote. Like you literally have to lift up the whole CNC to change the board, right? To change the spoil board.
I thought, well, maybe it's better because you wouldn't hit them, but then I thought the same thing, like you said, this is gonna be a pain in the ass to swap it out. So I thought I would just slide my board halfway between my two tables and go underneath it.
Yeah.
Herb says there are different grades of carbine.
Definitely.
Yep. Do anybody know a good way? I mean, I'm sure there's an industrial way, like to test the quality of carbide. Like as a consumer, like, is there any way to know?
I don't know how you would.
Oh.
Like a hardness test, maybe?
I think the problem is a hardness test would be a destructive test.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it is a destructive test.
I think all you could do is put the bit up against something that's not going to move and go step at a time. How many steps can you go before the thing snaps?
Okay. Yeah. That would be interesting.
But you'd have to make sure that every bit was the same height when you did that test.
That's true too. Yep.
But if you just made a block that was do
you know Cutting It Close?
Yeah.
He makes a lot of videos like that. He literally takes the CNC and just rams it straight into a spoil board and breaks the bit and says, "Can you break your CNC?" I'm like, what the hell?
Is he the same guy that puts all kinds of weird things in a blender?
I don't know about that
I
one.
don't know.
But he definitely takes bits and like tries to destroy them. He even tried to see if he could ruin the spindle. Like, what is the top speed he can cut something in and do it? I was man.
Hopefully he does this behind like
No, he's standing right next to it.
Bulletproof glass or something.
He's standing right next to it. Said, make sure you guys smash the like button. Looks like we got a decent amount of people in the live here, so hit that like button.
Tim said 23, but I think he's only looking at my channel right now.
Yeah, keep
There's
in mind
also
when
3 other channels plus Facebook plus Instagram plus right?
plus Switch, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Well, LTX Designs that uses 3D printed bench dogs and Craig inline clamps because CA glue and tape get expensive. My biggest thing for using CA glue and tape is most of the time when I am doing a CNC project, I'm cutting all the way through, and I don't have to use tabs.
Yeah, I tend not to use tabs either.
Yeah,
sometimes I do, but
it depends.
It's just one more step after, right?
Yeah. If I'm using a downcut bit, I don't ever use tabs, no matter how I'm holding it, because it's impossible. Those chips typically hold it in place, like the very bottom. They kind of pack in because you're ejecting everything downwards. If you're cutting through,
Yeah. So when you're cutting through, Andy, you literally just go all the way. You won't leave a little tiny tab and then clean it up afterwards.
If it's something really, really delicate and like light, yeah, maybe. But then I'm using typically then I'm using double-sided tape.
Okay.
I use a lot of there's a particular double-sided tape that I like that you can only buy. The only place I've found is in my local Lowe's. You can't. They don't offer it online. It's Sure tape, but it's a specific like double-sided rug tape that doesn't leave a residue.
Is it the one that looks like it has a mesh in it?
Yes.
Okay, I use that too.
Yeah. That's it's really good. But anyways, if I'm cutting all the way through on something like, let's say, an inch board, yeah, I typically don't use tabs.
Chris asks if any of us use composite nails for hold downs. I don't.
I have a little experience with this. Learned the hard way. I've got a composite nailer with my Avid.
What is a composite nailer?
So a composite nailer is literally, it shoots plastic nails.
Oh.
It works great for sheet goods, not for hardwoods at all. Like those composite nails just won't go through a 3/4 inch piece of oak.
Doesn't it leave all kinds of holes in your spoil board too?
It does, but the interesting thing is they kind of fill themselves. Like, you know, and they break off really easily. The advantage is you can hit them with a bit and it just goes right through them.
Well, yeah, that's the advantage of the nail itself. But
yeah,
if your spoil board has to be replaced more often, that's.
Well, I mean, I use a lot of screws as a hold down method. It's actually my preferred way, and it actually leaves less damage than a screw.
Yeah, if you use deck screws, they won't stand up to a carbide bit.
So Roger, a few weeks back, we were talking about our Montport K40.
Yeah.
And a subscriber reached out to me and said, since I didn't have the air assist, they would send me a 3D printed something to give me air assist. And they send me this. Okay?
No.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
You see a problem on the other end?
No hole?
Yeah. Well, it's for that way you don't waste air.
Maybe it's like a good cigar. You have to bite the end off it.
Yeah, man. You gotta wet the end and bite it.
It only has a hole to here. This whole other part is full. I was like,
oh.
Thanks,
it's so you can put your own size hole in it.
Yeah, I have to get a little drill bit in there.
I was like, what the heck? But thanks. Brake test force gauge.
Yeah, that's when I asked the question about testing carbide. There's got to be a way to test carbide strength in a industrial setting somewhere.
Yeah, well, I think the tool just mentioned, the force gauge, is the way to do it, especially in an industrial application. But
LTX9 said, I used a compression bit when I cut through. The chips have always held in place for me so far. Dave said, I used a 23 gauge nailer from Harbor Freight. The nails are so small, then CC hits it won't break the bit. About $25.
Cool. Yeah, like a popular brand is Raptor nailer or Raptor nails.
For that purpose, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're strong enough to hold it, but not strong enough to break a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're just like, you know, like I don't know, like composite.
Like a heavy-duty staple.
Yeah, a pin nail is actually smaller than a staple.
Is he using pin nailers? A pin nail, like metal pin nail?
23 gauge pin nail. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I was still thinking composite in my mind. Sorry. Yeah, pin nailer. I've used pin nailers, but so a pin nail does not have a head on it. And so when you pull your material up, they usually stay in your wasteboard, and they are, in my opinion, a bugger to get out of that.
Use a pair of channel locks
or cat's paw, right?
Oh, you're not going to use a cat's paw. There's no head.
There's no head on it.
Yeah, so channel locks, you can just clamp down on the thing, and if you use the right end of the right side of the channel lock, you can just roll it out.
Yeah, and so I ended up using pliers and kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But then you have to be really, really careful because that 23 gauge is super tiny. And so they break off, and then it's like you can't grip it.
Now you got a grinder.
Well, you got a CNC. You can just smooth it out.
Yeah. So I used pin nails for a little while, then got away from it. And I just use strictly my hold down methods are screws and double-sided tape.
You don't ever use handcuffs?
That's what I used to.
No. Not on the CNC.
Steve said that's what I used to. You ever use handcuffs? He's like, that's what I used to.
Yeah, not to what you said. Yeah, I mean, it takes surprisingly little force to hold something down as long as it's flat. Like the CNC isn't going to push it around too much because if it's moving in a particular direction, it's probably cutting.
So what do you think of all these fancy jigs with all these holes and all these pushers? You just think that's a whole lot of wasted time. Just stick with the glue, and I'm sorry, just stick with the tapes.
Yeah. So my spoil board, I have a spoil board design you can have if you want, but it's full of dog holes and I use it once in a while because it's good to get things square to the table if you want something square, but it's just a pain. Like
I think in any time in machining, right? Like there's different use cases, and I think all these different jigs and different things are designed for, in my mind, they work really well in like one use case, like one setup.
Yeah.
And then they struggle in others, right?
So you could be like a jig almost for a particular project.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had a project on my list of things to do for a long time, a vacuum table. It was something I planned to do a video on. One of these days I'll do it.
Yeah, I saw a guy making his stock spoil board a vacuum table. It was and even had the file. I thought that was pretty wild. It seems like to me the guy was using an air ride technology compressor, for air ride suspension system. That was pretty crazy.
Well, that would be a pump, not a vacuum.
Yeah. Well, it's either way, right? Because it's blowing it out the way he had it, like.
Routed, okay.
Right. It's a compressor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need a whole lot to hold something down. So I think if I built a vacuum table, it would just be a table with a bunch of 1/4-inch holes in it, probably to hold stuff down.
Yeah.
And then a fairly sizable vacuum pump.
I thought it looked pretty. When I saw people make decent, the holes are pretty big though. They were using PVC pipe. I thought that looked pretty cool. Like but kind of what Andy said though, like jig purposable, right? If you were doing the same type of thing, and maybe that could help.
Yeah. One hold on method that I would like to try, Broen Wood, who does the inlays, the cutting board inlays on YouTube. Fantastic work, by the way. He uses dog holes and 1-inch dog holes in PVC, like little tines of PVC.
Yeah. So I was talking about,
And then he uses wedges. So no screws, no tape, no nothing. He just uses wedges, and he's got that configuration. He can set it up, but everything he does is rectangles, right?
So that's what I did on my spoil board. So the pins are actually 1/2-inch electrical conduit, plastic conduit, not EMT, and works really well. And then a bunch of wedges. I just cut a bunch of wedges, but it takes so much longer to set up than just slapping down a couple of layers of tape with some glue in the middle of it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I'm hoping if I ever get time to build a vacuum table, I'll just drop the thing on there and turn on the vacuum, and that'll be it.
Well, Mickey Burr here says bought a 2 Trees 3018 Pro over a year ago. I haven't taken out of the box yet. What do you guys recommend I do to get started with it? Well, unless they've changed how they ship, you'll spend the first day putting it together.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, it'll take a day.
Yeah. But it's a good way to find out how it works. You'll know how it works by the time you get done.
It's like the old Shapeoko, like my very first one in 2017. Like that, there was nothing pre-assembled.
The only thing I didn't like about the 2 Trees is when I assembled it, is the guides on the side, right? One was all the way up, let's say north, and one was all the way south. So I had to bring them together. So I thought they should put them the same so that they're aligned, right? Because otherwise you're kind of trying to align it so that the rail is straight between. You get what I mean? No,
sort of like squaring up the rails together.
Yes. Yeah. Just why didn't you just have it like that? Then at least you could slightly move it. They were like opposite ends of each other. Like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the Two Trees 3018 Pro. If it's a 3018 in the truest sense of the word, or whether they've actually done some improvement on it. And I think it's probably the former rather than the latter. But it's a good way to get started. At least you understand the principles of CNC. And if you use something like easel, you'll get to understand what toolpaths are all about. After that, sell it and buy something bigger.
So I would say the whole reason my concept, and how Andy and I have a difference of agreements on this, but I was saying with the Two Trees is that you purchase a larger, more expensive, bigger, badder, faster CNC. You put all that bread down there, like, all right, you'll get it in 12 weeks. So you're sitting on your hands. You don't know how to use the software, and 12 weeks come, and now you're just learning. So maybe another 12 weeks you know how to use it. So if I had a cheap CNC, and all I used it as is a simulator program or a pilot program, essentially I could learn the software well enough that by hopes that when the CNC shows up, I can fumble my way through it and then.
But if you have VCarve, you can just cut the CNC out of the whole thing, right? Because you can do simulation on VCarve.
Yeah.
Do you have VCarve yet? Did you buy it?
No.
Oh no, you're gonna get a license from them, right?
No, I asked and they said maybe, then told me no. Oh, no, they gave me a license for Carveco. Yeah, but I wasn't gonna do that. I was gonna do the other one you guys told me.
Find someone you don't like and give them your Carveco license.
Yeah,
I'd like to say that's what I did with the guy I gave it to. I actually like so.
Yeah, I haven't activated it.
I'm gonna create a short. I'm gonna clip that right there.
And now he uses Aspire and he says he hates me because Aspire is so much better. It's also about $2,000 more.
Yeah, you're up, Roger.
Okay, from David, he says, got a Bamboo A1 printer. It stops when doing high prints, 250 layers and higher. Saying the nozzle is covered with filament, which continues on. What's causing this? I have never had that happen. 250 layers. I'm trying to think of how many millimeters that would be. I guess depends on what your layer height is. Swap cameras here. Those two A1s there just got done doing 200 millimeter tall prints. I do them all the time, and I have had no issues at all with that.
Are there sensors that could be dirty that need to be cleaned?
I don't know of any sensor there that not on the A1. I mean, if you had a filament problem on X1, it'll give you what I call a spaghetti alert to let you know that
there has to be some kind of a sensor. Otherwise, how do they know the nozzle's covered with filament?
Well, they know when the filament's flowing. That goes through the extruder, and they know what the temperature is. But
I would go out on a limb and say change the nozzle.
Yeah, it's easier quick to do on an A1.
Yeah, see if that changes anything.
Maybe the nozzle is not exactly 0.2, 0.3, whatever size nozzle you're using.
It should be a 0.4.
Yeah, it's messed up. Maybe it's causing some kind of strain on it.
Maybe it's 0.35 and it's enough to set off some alarm.
Yeah, and I had posted in our Facebook group, guys, or ladies and gentlemen, if there's any items that's $400 or around $400 that can be purchased at Lowe's, if you'd like to see me do a review on it, let me know. So
so at 25 layer or 250 layers, 0.04 millimeters, right?
No, 0.4.
0.4?
Yeah, but the layer height's probably less.
The layer height's probably like 0.2.
Yeah.
Or less. Could be like 0.16.
Yeah, if you're using kind of normal layer heights, it'll be 0.2.
Yeah, so that's
quality.
That's what 50. I think it's 50 millimeters. Whatever it is, it seems like I was just thinking. Seems like a very round number.
Well, 50 millimeters is roughly 2 inches. 50 millimeters, yeah.
So yeah, maybe something's triggering it there, like the layer height's off, like you said. something.
I guess try what Roger said. Process
Roger
of
didn't say
elimination.
that. I said that.
Oh, Steve said it. I mean, sorry.
Unless
But
it doesn't work, then it was all Roger.
Hello from Hoffman Estates. Hey, Roger and I are in your backyard in Illinois as well.
I have no idea where that's at, but
Oh, it's closer to Rick than it is to me because he's on the east side of the state. I'm on the west side, but we're directly across from each other.
Yeah.
Is this somebody else from Hoffman Estates?
Yeah, I think there is another person from Hoffman Estates.
Because this isn't the same name as
No. Yeah, I think there is another person from Hoffman Estates.
Rick, you said you're from the east side?
So I am southwest from Chicago. I'm like 30 minutes. I'm sorry, like 45 to an hour, depending on traffic, right?
Yeah.
Southwest of Chicago.
And so, Roger, you're southeast?
No, I am on the east or on the west side
Okay.
of Illinois, right on the Iowa-Illinois border. In an area, it's called the Quad Cities.
Yeah, I've heard
metro
that.
area here. Yeah, and I'm in that area.
So Roger and I were talking offline, and we're gonna, when the weather gets a little nicer, plan to get together. So
Be in the
we're
middle
local to each other. Yeah.
go to Roger's annual July 4th celebration party.
Yeah, there we go.
He was just mad they closed Heavenly Bodies, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Go hang out with Roger in the hot tub.
Okay, make sure you do it on a Wednesday night at 7:30.
Live. Yeah,
Live.
If it ain't live, it didn't happen.
That is an idea, though. Actually, when I was in Mexico, I was originally going to do the live stream from down in the pool. But I got a little nervous about taking my laptop down there.
Yeah.
But I do have a way set up that I could do it sometime when this summer from the hot tub.
There you go. Roger, you want to read this one?
Say I bought a reinforced Z-axis kit and a Y-axis extension kit for the 3018. Would it be confusing for me to install those while I'm putting the CNC together? Probably not, because well, I guess it depends on what Two Trees did with their directions, because they used to be written in what I call English. So it's kind of a
There's a whole
combination
website for that, by the way.
Yeah. So if you can understand that, and if they got some decent pictures, I don't know. I've done a lot of these, so it's second nature to me to put one together. But if it's your first time, take your time. I'd put the basic thing together first. Maybe add your Y-axis extension to it, because you're going to have to add the longer cables when you assemble it. The Z-axis kit, I would wait until you get the thing together first to see how it works before you start tackling on the Z-axis.
I would, I'd put it together and actually try it on a couple of things before
Upgrading,
before tearing it apart and modifying it, because at least that'll tell you you're starting from something that was working, in case you run into some problems.
You're up again, Roger.
You don't want me to answer that one.
I'll read that one. So Chris asks, what do you think of the K2 Plus versus Bamboo? Looking for an honest opinion. Well, I mean, price-wise, I think is the only real difference. Print quality on the Bamboo is probably going to be a bit better. And, they don't have nearly as good a support as the Creality one does.
Yeah, that's what I said. Don't get me started on Creality tech support. That's why Creality doesn't sponsor me for anything.
Yeah. I think he was just poking at the bear. I don't even think he has one.
Oh, yeah.
I have no issue with Creality. I have issues with Creality support, just like you do, Roger, but the printer's fine. Bill says he watched my video on starting a laser business. Oh, that was the one I just put out today.
Yeah, I actually watched it too.
Thank you for such valuable information. So this is like the first strata of starting a business. This is more, how do you keep your mental state in the right shape so that you don't screw up things by your own devices? Once you kind of get over some of that, then there's a whole nother layer of business, which is how do you market, how do you sell things, how do you design things. There's just a whole bunch of that.
I like your fancy little intros between your topic changes. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I try to dress things up a little.
Yeah.
Well, it's an obvious video break because, especially, it takes me so. I'll do the actual first part of a video. I'll shoot about 10 times before I'm happy with it. After that, it's I kind of get in the groove. I'll say it's not like I don't care. I get more in the groove. Yep. But in between those sections is an obvious video transition, and I hate the fast movement when you do a cut. So it just makes sense to do something there. Plus, it's a good segue, and it helps me identify chapters later when I
mess up. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. All right, start over. I'll just start talking again.
When I mess up, we cut it and we just lay B-roll over it. you don't see.
Well, yeah. So I do that sometimes, but it's just this particular video is mostly talking head, right? There's not a lot of B-roll for getting a business going. So so it had to be pretty crisp to start with. But yeah, it was somebody asked me about it, and around, hey, what would you do over again, and of course the ever present question of what hardware would you choose, that kind of thing. So
a lot of CNC related questions today, and it's crazy to see that lasers continue to seem like the gateway drug to CNCs, right? And
one avenue.
Yeah. I think
Definitely.
I think I think diode lasers are also a gateway to CO2 and fiber lasers.
Yeah.
And those are probably a gateway to some of these laser welders and things that are starting to show up now too.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I can see is when these lasers get so high powered, is the power consumption and the demand. Like I was saying before, just even some of these lasers that were from India or China, the voltage that they were asking was like a weird voltage. I was like, what? Yeah.
Well, they run generally 230 anyway in India, but if it's some weird thing like it's got to be 344 volts at
50 hertz
or some dumb thing, right?
Yeah. The other thing is when the frequency changes from 60 hertz to 50 hertz.
Yeah. And they're 50 hertz there.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I don't know. It just hurts.
Well, 220 would hurt for sure, especially at 50 hertz.
So I got a funny story for you, Roger. We're at an outage, and we're pulling in some new line through some manholes, 3 different manholes. Okay. Now, mind you, the line is, I'm standing next to a reel cart. So the line goes to nothing. It's coming off a reel, right? And the guy says, just so you know, that duct packs might have some inductance on it. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And we're all on a bridge in each other's ear because you have to stop, because we can't see each other when, you need to get more slack or you're moving, whatever. And every now and then this guy will go, ah! And we're like, dude, shut up, man. You're blowing our eardrums out. And then finally, I saw it. I saw like the blue light, like the whoop. Like I saw like the spark. And I was like, holy shit, you didn't get shocked. He's like, what? I'm like, I saw it. I told you I was getting shocked. I told you I was getting shocked. He must have yelled like 20 times that night.
Yeah, it builds up.
I felt bad.
Another one, if you're in a real high voltage switch yard, and I used to tell apprentices, do not lean on anything. You can lean on it, you'll be fine, but as soon as you go to stand up, you'll draw an arc between your body and that steel, and it'll hurt. It won't electrocute you, but it's one hell of a static shock. Man, it hurts. It'll leave a welt.
In the early days of my career working on industrial lasers, we built a laser, 1 joule laser. So this thing had tens of thousands of watts of power. Like it was massive. And we built it to the controller for it, where the operator actually sat, was a control room lined with copper to keep all the noise out. But if you were in a big lab, when you fired the laser, you could see like plasma running around the outside of the Faraday cage, and it was like, this is a little unnerving.
You just got cancer. when that thing turned out.
Because you're in the dark, you're looking for some beam, and you fire the laser, and then there's about 3 seconds of plasma rolling around the Faraday cage. Yeah.
Multicraft said I called Carbine for support, and they called me back in 20 minutes. Tyler had me on FaceTime. Oh wow! And he went through the whole shakedown with the new CNC, smooth service, smooth as silk.
Good deal.
Some companies do it right.
Yeah, Carbide 3D is known, like they're known for very, very good support. They invest heavily. Probably so. You got Creality that invests nothing. They're on the other side where they invest a lot.
Well, that was one of the reasons in this video I just did that I recommended X Tool. Right? It's you're going to pay more, but when you have a problem, they're going to fix it.
Yep. That's almost why I didn't go with the PWN CNC rotary, because I emailed them and like 10 times and they responded twice. And I was so like nervous, like if I have a problem, I'm screwed, right? And then
it's particularly bad if they know you're a YouTuber. Not that YouTubers are on a pedestal, but you're going to talk, right? If you have problems,
right?
And you think if they're treating you as good as they would treat any other YouTuber, then that means, and you're not happy, that means a customer who just paid money is not going to be happy either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Literally 10 times, and they responded twice. But the only thing was that I watched so many videos on it. Everyone's like, dude, it's badass. Like I even said, did you have problems? I messaged you, did you have to call tech support? They're like, it works, just works. You won't need to. But like Roger said with Crowley, I'm hoping that if I have a problem that they're not like, who?
Creality know I had a YouTube channel. They knew it, but just didn't really care. I mean,
did you
even
see
with this last this Ender 3 V3 SE I do still have a Creality printer. It was put together backwards from the factory on the extruder head. The electronics were literally assembled backwards. And I was just dazed trying to get them to do something. I was about ready to send it back. Then thought, well, I'm going to tear into it. And I did a video on what I found. And they said, oh, well, yeah, we screwed up.
Yeah, I recently registered a new domain at GoDaddy. And I saw that they now offer a .sucks. So you can, I was like, oh my God. People are going to buy someone's company name .sucks.
Wonder if Creality's gone. See, I like Creality, and I don't think they talk to me anymore, and I think it's all your fault, Roger. I think they watch this live stream and go, oh, those two guys, they're in cahoots. So we're not going to talk to him anymore. Creality, if you're listening.
He wants to set up auto filters. As soon as Roger says Creality, it just mutes him.
Yeah, it leads him out. Beep.
Yeah. You get that black box over your mouth with the symbols.
He's all pixelated. All you see is a bunch of Hawaiian colored pixels.
He must have a bad connection.
Says MS Manual 61 says, I guess I was backwards. Had my CNCs for over 3 years before I got a laser.
Oh, wow.
It happens.
Yeah, I had a CNC before I had a laser.
I did too. But mine was
Actually,
a
I
little
did
3018.
Yeah, I had a CNC before I had a laser.
Okay.
All right, Steve.
Roger, Steve, have you all dealt with the rat rig or the Vorons? I've been back and forth between the two. I need a bigger build plate. What I want to do. Rat rig offers a 500 millimeter cube. I have a Anycubic Cobra Max ordered. I think they're 450 cube. That's supposed to, I'm in the queue. It's supposed to be here this month. Before we went on live tonight, we were talking about being in the queue for things. Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, I don't have anything this big. Like 300 millimeters is big enough for anything I'm ever going to 3D print.
Yeah, someone in our Facebook group replied to my comment that they said it was in the queue, and he was like, I just didn't get what he meant. But he was like, when you're in the queue, that means something. And I was like, what? So
I don't really understand the word, the way it's spelled. You got the letter Q. That's all you pronounce. Is just a bunch of other letters there for extra or what?
Yes.
On longer, Troker said, on longer 20 watt, can you buy like 30 watt or higher laser head?
If it's the B1, yes. If it's the Ray 5, no.
Yeah, Ray 5's cap out at what, 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, the B1 you can get a 40. Does Longer have a 60 now? A 50
No, they're
or
still
60?
on the 40.
40.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
So
yeah, they will sell you a separate head for a B1.
So I've seen a ton of videos recently coming out. You know, people start to send these trends, and the question they're asking influencers is, "Will you ever send something that you did not review?" And so, what would you do? Did you just not review it, or did you send it back, or have you?
Well, usually, so I have certainly had things sent to me that I didn't review. Usually, the response from sellers, from the vendors, is, you know, if you don't want to do a review, you know, just get rid of the unit, right? Now, the only reason I wouldn't do one is because, and Longer almost fell into this at one point, because they had their screwed up driver. Remember they picked the wrong driver when you did Find My Laser. And I literally said, like, I'm not going to review this thing because it's, you know, I can't say good things about it. And if you'd like me to not say good things, fine, I'll do a video. But
I had a laser sent to me, but I won't say the company. And I'm like, you know, I let him buy. I said, you know, this thing really sucks. I said, it's not accurate. Nothing goes together right. Nothing's tight. You can't tighten anything. It won't stay. The belts won't stay tight. They said, well, don't review it. Just throw it away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tends to be because it's too expensive for them to take them back, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I originally got the Longer B1. I say, honestly, in my experience, is probably the worst laser I had that I liked the most. And what I mean is, out of box, I had so many problems.
Yeah, well, yours was a kit, right?
But the good thing was that they're like, why haven't you done the video? I'm like, you don't want me to. Why? And here's 16 problems that I found. And within about 2 to 3 days, they had an answer and even filmed videos for me saying, this is how you fix it. So I said, okay, I'm going to hold off because now I need to go over your 16 videos and recreate those videos and say, if depending on what version, and you know, and that's the other thing we talked about, Steve. Sometimes when we get a product that's so fresh to the market, we may get like a beta version firmware or something, you know what I mean? So a year, 2 years later, the product's been out, you know, not anyone might have that, but just being honest, you know, I can't say it's flawless. You know, I might say, if you were to purchase laser and you had these problems, here are the fixes. And once you do these simple fixes, you're going to love that laser.
But usually manufacturers will tell you the state of things, right? So like the Nano
I wasn't told it was a beta, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Longer Nano Duo. I mean, I got that before they started the Kickstarter project. And I know, so they said to me, can you send it back? Which I did. And Sky, too, she sent hers back for the same reason. It wasn't like they told me the things that were not working. So it wasn't so bad, but you know, in the end, they said, just send that one back and we'll send you a new one. And that's when I said, hey, can I just have you send it to wherever I draw a name? That's the best way, right? So
yeah, do it a giveaway.
Speak of the devil, Longer just pinged me probably to say, don't say bad things about us.
Oh, jeez.
No, you know what? The thing is, I use the Atezza V35. That was my workhorse. That was my go-to diode laser. And when I used the Longer B1, 35 to 40 watts, I didn't think I was going to notice a difference at all. I didn't think I was going to be able to tell a difference. It was so drastic. I was like, wow. I just didn't expect 5 watts to make that big of a difference, and it is. So, yeah. So hence the Atezza V35 is retired, and the Longer B1 took its place. So,
yeah, but Longer's good from just a support perspective. But they want you to get lasers early, right? And same with X-Tool. When I did the S1. I had to sign all kinds of non-disclosures because they were sending me a non-production unit, and you know, it's like, fine, as long as you tell me what's not working, so I don't say to somebody, oh, you know, you push this button and things catch fire, you know. So just cut that piece out of the video.
Before we were actually live, I had mentioned on that on the craft, that Adamstack craft I got. I was really surprised. I'd never heard this before. that it said it had a fire extinguisher or a fire suppressor or whatever.
Fire suppressant system, yeah.
I haven't opened yet to see it, but I was surprised to see that. Like, wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, I don't know if Klaxon, whether they include the halon canister or not.
I don't know. I was just surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they're like I mentioned, X-Tool has fire suppression on most of their lasers now. It's becoming a thing. So another one of these 2025 directions.
Yeah.
But the thing, there's a different concern with that, right? Halon is very dangerous as well, right? So.
Well, I've got a story about halon. Back when I was working, we did a computer server room. Yes. Very, very, very high tech. I mean, multiple UPS backups, had a halon extinguishing system in it. So if there was a fire detected, an alarm would go off, and you had 60 seconds to hit the halon abort button. Well, they wanted to make sure nobody would hit that by accident, so they had us mount this halon abort 6 feet above the floor. Everybody that worked in that room was handicapped and in a wheelchair.
Oh, what?
Yeah, no kidding. And this was at a university.
Wow.
Halon, if people don't know what halon is, it replaces oxygen instantly.
Yes. Which is non-breathable, obviously, because it puts the fire out. Right. So, yeah, I worked in a lot of computer rooms where there were halon suppression systems, and only had one go off in all the years I was in computer rooms. And when you see the gas coming down from the ceiling, you run like hell to get to the door.
So what I'm hearing
you become unconscious.
Since Steve constantly complained, you have to have a CO2 laser that's class 1. That's actually become a thing. And since Roger constantly complained about Creality, maybe they're going to try to switch up their game. Here he goes.
What does he say? Quack says the craft sprays water. Oh, it uses water.
Okay, through air assist.
Oh, that's cool.
Air assist pumps a reservoir and separate water into the air.
Well, that's a better idea.
Because
I know the X-Tool one uses halon, which is fantastic for putting out the fire, but it could also have you wake up on the floor if you wake up, depending on how much halon gets dispersed.
Yeah, so I'll check it out. I'll do the unboxing this weekend and have something posted up, but it was a lot larger than I expected. And they sent me the fume extractor kit as well. Yeah.
Well, you saw compared to Andy how big Clack was, and he looked pretty small standing beside that laser. So Andy could just sleep inside the thing.
Andy, you don't hear that often, do you?
What's that?
I thought it was a lot bigger.
I hear it all the time. I'm callous to it.
But she's really talking about your paycheck, right?
When I was a kid, this kid was picking on me, and my father told me to go fight him, and I didn't want to fight him. And my stepfather raised me Sicilian, so he's like barely 5 foot tall. And he says, "How many men do you think I've ever fought my size?" Never anyone my size. He says, "You can go fight him, or you can fight me." Right? I was in 7th grade, and the kid was in 10th grade. I beat the living crap out of that kid. My dad said, "Told you."
So I used to get the opposite thing. I'd hear, "Hey, what's the air like up there? Can you breathe up there? Or what altitude is that?" I mean, I used to get all them comment. Yeah. I'm 6'3", so I'm not short by any means.
I think the only reason I can fight is because I hung out with Italian and Mexican guys all the time, right? I'm 5'11" and a half. Most Mexicans are Italian are 5 foot tall, so they hit the big guy first, right? Like, I didn't even say anything. I ain't hanging out with you. Every time you shoot your mouth, I get hit.
Yeah, I'm pushing 6'2", and if I was standing beside Andy, I would probably say something like, "You're not really short. You're just the last one to know when it's raining."
Oh man, the jokes are on today. So how tall are you, Andy? How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Okay. So we're right on 7 height. I'm 5'11". So Steve and Roger are a little taller than us.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was very tall even in high school, and some high school basketball coach decided I should play basketball. And I said, you don't understand. I cannot hit a net. Doesn't matter. Well, you're tall. Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
That happened to me in junior high. I got, conned into going on a basketball team, and they put me in the center. I started every game for the tip, but after that, I was on the bench.
That's so messed up.
Come halftime, I was right out there because I could jump and reach taller than anybody. I was this height in junior high. I was also a klutz. I trip over my own feet real easy.
This coach wouldn't leave me alone until I went for a tryout, and I finally went for a tryout, threw about 30 shots at a net and didn't hit it once. And he said, well, you're terrible. I said, I told you. Now let me go back to a computer lab or something. And
oh, too funny. It's definitely great seeing a lot of familiar faces that we're definitely growing a loyal fan base. We didn't have Australia in the building tonight, I noticed, but Australia's been mostly in the house lately a lot too. So very cool.
Well, they did have a hurricane or something there this week. So
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Probably a lot of people out of power.
Yeah.
At least that's what we can hope for, as opposed to they just didn't want to come and see us.
we hope your power was knocked out. You weren't just ignoring us. But yeah, very cool though. Very cool. Definitely good. So selfish plugs. Definitely join our Facebook group if you have not already.
Hey, hold it here. Tim is saying to Clack he hopes he feels better soon. Clack, what's the problem?
He had back surgery.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, I saw a video of him sitting on the porch with his wife. He said he was relaxing.
She's probably enjoying the company for a change.
Yeah, get better soon, man.
Yeah.
I know he just had, not too long ago, he had knee surgery, right?
It's falling apart, man. That's what happens when you get close to retirement.
Yeah. He's got to use all that resurgeries while you still got your insurance, right?
Right. Get fixed up.
Yeah. See, it's not such a big problem here.
Well, it is, because you guys got to get on these waiting lists. Like, I know I've had family in Canada come here because they don't want a year and a half for an MRI scan or whatever.
It's all it's based on need though, right? Like, I guarantee you, if I walked into an emergency room with a severed hand, they'd stop everything and sew it back on. They wouldn't make me wait for hours.
But if you had cancer and you wanted your head scanned,
no, that stuff is usually pretty quick.
Yeah.
Heart and cancer. We have one of the best heart institutes in the world. So, which is my father went to twice. So something I'm sure I can look forward to because it's all hereditary.
What are you going to do?
Go to the doctor.
Wake up every day and, thank the stars that I'm still alive until I'm not.
So guys, be prepared for a whole lot of DeWalt videos. That's all I can say.
Walt. From Lowe's, the Lowe's stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DeWalt.
Yeah.
What do we know? Maybe we asked this before, but what new lasers are coming out on the horizon that you can mention?
I can mention one. I can't show it yet. It's the WeCreate 845.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah. I talked to them about that one too. Well, they talked to me, I guess, but I'm not going to have time to do it. It's just because they wanted it in April or something. And
yeah, I'm on a time crunch for it. In fact, I'm going to take it out of the box tomorrow and start playing with it. And mine's a beta version.
Like, I have 4 videos to do between now and the end of the month.
Jeez.
Which is interesting because I normally only do 4 or 5 in a month.
All reviews?
No. Well, sort of. A couple of them are reviews.
So Andy and Steve, I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that big, tall, huge extractor, dust collector. What do you guys recommend? Any particular tubing that would go from that 4-inch to be able to split between the 2 CNCs? Is there like a manufacturer that sells like these kits? I was looking on Amazon and they kind of look like,
So what, like 2-inch pipe, 2.5-inch pipe?
Well, 4-inch. That'd be 4-inch.
Right.
4-inch?
Yeah, you can get a 4-inch Y.
Yeah.
and run
If you're
them.
real ambitious, you could print one, but you might as well just go for a drive and find one at Lowe's.
I did mine. I made mine out of PVC.
Yeah.
And then put blast gates in between the Y and the, or you could put it at the machine too. It depends where you want it, but so you can close one off.
So I put a blast gate on the front where it has the Y where it comes out, because I bought the accessory so I can hook it to my sander. Man, I do so much sanding, and it's the wall has that catcher. But if I have that, why am I not just sucking it straight into there? But literally, that the blast gate from the vacuum was sucking it closed, and I was like, "What?" I pull it open, and it would turn on, and so it starts sucking hard. Boom! It shut. So I thought there was just too much play in it.
Yeah,
So
there probably is.
So I just put a screw through it and tightened it on.
Yeah, you can do a thumb screw, or if you just take a piece of Gorilla Tape and stick it on the blade.
I've done that.
It'll prevent it from closing.
On the ones I 3D printed, I can adjust how tight the gate is by I use nylock nuts, where I put the 3 pieces of the gate together, and if I want it to slide a little tougher, I just tighten the bolts down a little harder. But of course, mine are 3D printed, custom made. So
yeah, those work if you have multi-piece blast gates. Most
that's
blast
what I
gates
did.
nowadays are just those single molded things, right?
Yeah, that's what I got. But yeah, it was just inside that sleeve. It was just a little too sloppy. So I mean, it seemed nice, but it was closing every time.
Stick a piece of tape on the blade, and it's still going to be thick enough or thin enough that you can slide it in to close it, but it'll have enough friction on it to prevent it from closing on its own.
Okay. Nice. Good tip.
Or just put a rock on it or something.
Yeah, I just drilled a hole and put a screw with a nut on it.
Have your son stand there and hold it open.
Are you done yet? No, it says 4 hours left. You'll be all right. Get your iPad. Get your iPad. No, I bought the vacuum attachment, so my son was running around vacuuming the floors and vacuuming all kinds of stuff up.
Nice.
So it looks pretty good. But looks like we're at time, guys. We got one more question. We can get that in.
A QE2. QE like Queen Elizabeth II?
Is that at QE2?
Oh, he's talking about your Queen Elizabeth's coin. The one you did.
Oh, no, it's just some AI generated thing that happened to look like the Queen. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's probably lots of Queen pictures in the language model for.
So I picked something up, guys. Before we just mention that real quick. You guys know I polished all my coins by hand with a Dremel. So I got this. Let's see how this works out.
Nice.
You should get one of those tumblers, man.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I was thinking, since at made@china.com, whatever it is, made-china. What do they always say, that the day you think you know everything is the day you should just get a new job, right? So I think my way is the best way, right? It's because that's the only way I've tried. So I was thinking, I'll use a Dremel, I'll use the polishing wheel, and then maybe I'll use Steve Tumbler and see, well, what gets the best results and what the time.
Yeah, the nice thing about the tumbler is you can just throw a coin in there and you can go away for 25 minutes. And
the only thing I liked about doing it by hand is I can really affect the look.
Well, you can still do that after if you really want to, right?
I get you.
Like the tumbler takes off all the barnacles and makes the thing shiny.
Right.
And then if you want to do something,
do your handwork.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's just a bunch of pins sitting in there stirring around in water, right? With a little bit of there's a chemical you stick in there to shine bright or something, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Cerium oxide.
Sure.
Cerium oxide. That polishes things right up.
Yeah. Nice. So I figured maybe I'll compare all three and see which way works best. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining live. Good, a lot of good questions today. Appreciate everyone joining our Facebook group. Appreciate them joining us today and with some good questions. And it's good to see the same faces over and over again, that we're actually, growing a strong community. You guys want to say anything and close up?
No, this was fun.
Hey guys, before we go,
see everybody next week.
Before we go, guys, any upcoming video content, anything anyone should be looking out for, you guys? Anything you guys make aware or
yes,
something coming out?
Lots.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is yet.
I have the DTF printer, and I have to do a video on the X-Tool welder cutter. There's a couple of other things coming.
That one I want to see.
Yeah, for sure. I've got one coming out hopefully Sunday. It's really cool, this workflow to develop new products. I highly recommend it. Checking it out. I've done a video once. I've done a video once before showing this process, but I'm doing it again. So
nice. And you had mentioned once before you were going to post your course in the group. I don't think you ever did. You should and pin it.
Cool.
So people can.
I wait with anticipation, so I know how to.
I'm trying to build up the anticipation, right?
I wake up every day and go, I wonder if this is the day Andy drops that.
You can always go to the cncsidehustle.com and check it out.
There you go.
Okay, well, there you go.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
See ya. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.